A quick mini pod edition of Hoge and Jahns to catch up on some of the news that has been going on. Just keeps coming, John. Just keeps coming.
Things are happening fast. And I expect by the time we finish this mini pod, there'll be more news to do mini pods on.
Yes, but we didn't want to leave you hanging throughout the weekend. So we will start with the very expected news that we've been kind of known was coming. I thought it was a long shot the Bears would actually be able to trade Tremaine Edmunds' contract when you look at some of the other cheaper options out there, and the fact that you could probably sign him cheaper anyway on the open market. So Tremaine Edmunds was released, and that clears $15 million in cap space for the Bears.
My most initial reaction was, I think the Bears have to draft a linebacker. I know we talked about spending in free agency, and I'm sure they will a little bit, but your long-term solution for Dennis Allen's defense has to be found in the draft. You can't overspend on linebacker again when you've already committed to TJ Edwards. You've drafted Ruben Hippolyte, and you got two safeties to sign or find. You got a center to bring in. You have other priorities for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I just think, what if I said hypothetically, though, they get Anzalone pretty cheap to pair with TJ Edwards, and they have Ruben Hippolyte, who I think they still think can play linebacker. I think more of his issues last year had to do with special teams. So,
yes, and then you draft
another one?
Like a Jacob Rodriguez in the third round, early fourth round, whatever you get with those third-round picks. I think that's the best-case scenario for Dennis Allen's defense.
Well, your guy Rodriguez might have pushed himself up into the second round.
I know. Can you just trip at the combine a little bit?
Well, you keep bringing him up. You're giving away the secret. I blame you. I think he owes you some money because he moved up a whole round because of you in this podcast.
I also put him on my 5 linebackers to watch for the Bears in the draft. You can read that on allchgo.com.
How much will the Bears miss Tremaine Edmunds, in your opinion?
Well, I think this is part of the DJ Moore conversation as well. These are more than just football players. Like, he was playing at an all-pro level before he hurt his groin, right? That was his injury that sidelined him for a bit. Mm-hmm. He was playing at a Pro Bowl level. But it's also about leadership. It's also about intangibles. It's also about being a good teammate. He brought all of that to the Bears locker room, just like DJ Moore did.
Yeah. Look, these are tough decisions you have to make when you're a competitive football team and you got contracts that you got to move around. And I think smart teams look to save cap space and go younger. And I think in both of these situations, that's what the Bears did. And now we'll see what the whole puzzle looks like once the dust settles here. Probably maybe this time next week we'll have a much better idea, or once they make the additions. But at this point, just looking at my roster tiers from last year, and I'm going to be doing that project again this year. DJ Moore was like a fringe blue-red player for me, red being, a starter that you win because of. I thought by the end of the year, Johns, I had him a little bit farther, still in the red, but a little bit farther down when that was all said and done. Drew Dalman, the opposite. I had him as a guy who was just a red starter you win because of, and he worked his way up to fringe blue because he's one of the best centers in the league, and that puts you in the blue chip category at your position. And then Tremaine Edmunds, I had him more as a player, even going into last season, that had gone down to the purple level, which is a player you win with, not because of. I thought there were times last year where he flirted and shown signs of being a red player again. But once you throw in the injuries, when it was all said and done, I think having him in that purple category was perfect. And at that point, when you could save $15 million, the way I'm explaining it to you right now, I hope it's not too confusing, but this is how teams look at this stuff. They categorize these players, they put labels on them, and they say, wait a minute, how much is this guy costing us against the cap? All right, it's this much. We just got to do the smart thing and move on, go younger, cheaper at the position.
So there's been some other news with, I call them Bears-related free agents. Tyler Biadasz, did I say that right?
Mm-hmm.
Biadasz. Signed with the Chargers, 3 years, $30 million. Safety Cam Curl, a player that Matt Bowen, our friend from ESPN, paired with the Bears in free agency. He re-signs with the Rams in free agency or pre-free agency, 3 years, $36 million. Does that impact your plans if you're the Bears at all in free agency?
So the Cam Curl thing, it made sense, but I don't know how much the Bears were actually interested in him. Biotish, we know that they were at least doing their homework on, right? We saw that news come out as soon as the Dalman retirement happened the other day. But I also think it's notable that they didn't sign him and he signed elsewhere. You know,
Pro Football Talk reporting today that Biotish did in fact not visit Hallis Hall.
Yeah, that didn't add up to me that it would happen that fast anyway. But you got to imagine that they did their homework and anyway, he's not a Bear, so you don't have to worry about saying Biotish anymore. It's just good news for you.
I just mastered it too. Biotish.
you put in all that work for nothing. I just don't think the Bears are going to go cheap at center after this news. I don't think it's Ben Johnson. I think Tyler Linderbaum, until he signs elsewhere, is going to have to be somebody we take seriously that could be a Bear by Monday.
The center position is too important to Ben Johnson's offense to think otherwise. He needs experience. He needs a mobile center, not just one who could be a bully in the run game, but someone who could do different things in different schemes. Like Ben Johnson's offense, the run game can be quite exotic with all the movements and shifts. There's a lot of responsibility placed on the center, a lot of leadership expected from the center position, and Ben Johnson needs one with experience. So Linderbaum would be at the top of my list. Any other centers do you think we should discuss leading up to the free agency window starting Monday?
McGovern.
Connor McGovern comes up a bit.
Yeah. I think that's certainly, a name to keep in mind, but I also think the sort of some of the lack of options there are why you have to take paying for Linderbaum so seriously, and also why he's probably going to get paid really well.
Best center in the market, just like Drew Dalman was a year ago.
Yeah. We did, when we reacted with our instant reaction on the DJ Moore trade, because we were live yesterday when that trade went down, we did not know the compensation. We both discussed what the compensation could be, and I believe we were both surprised that they got a second-round pick. I thought it might be more like a fourth-rounder. Now, the Bears did send a fifth back, which helps, but, man, there was a lot of talk about how that contract was not movable. I don't know that I ever believed it wasn't movable. I just wasn't sure that you would get a ton back. Credit to Ryan Poles, man, and I know Jeff King has a history with the Bills and Brandon Beane too. So I don't know. Yeah, whatever. But the front office, they did their job here. And because to get a second round pick and create that cap space for a player that I don't want to say it's not fair to say DJ Moore was redundant in the offense, but when you draft best player available like the Bears did last year and you add Colson Loveland, you add Luther Burden, these are the moves that come later on because you pushed out a more expensive veteran by making those decisions.
The Bears' decision to trade that first pick to the Carolina Panthers is just the gift that keeps on giving. Like, in all seriousness, like this, watch the Bears now trade the 60th pick. Maybe that's packaged for a pass rusher. Maybe they use it, for a linebacker in the draft. Maybe they trade back and you get more out of it, but that move to move the first pick that year, it just keeps giving the Bears options.
What if they draft a Hall of Famer at 60 now? And then you can just add that to the list.
Their
so it's DJ Moore.
Their next great linebacker.
You get three years of production from DJ Moore plus another player to be determined. Or maybe that pick gets traded, like you said. And certainly we've seen that from Ryan Poles quite a bit.
the unforgettable memories that DJ Moore delivered are part of that trade. They belong in this discussion as well. But 60th overall pick from the Buffalo Bills, you're thinking of movement because that area of the draft is just full of trades, and the Bears have two picks kind of close to each other, number 57 and number 60. To me, that says that there could be even more movement, but we saw last year the Bears used their 3 second-round picks. They moved a little bit, right? Last year in the second round?
No. Yes. No. Yeah.
Either way, Ryan Poles has a history of wheeling and dealing, especially.
No, because that's how they ended up with Trapillo and Shamar Turner later.
Correct. So,
yeah.
Another opportunity here for Ryan Poles to play his board and move around a little bit. But I thought about linebacker. I thought about safety. Those are two positions that can come right into play late in the second round.
Yeah. What did you think about DJ Moore's send off? Because I thought it was great. You know, I can't imagine he's thrilled that he's leaving the Bears. On the other hand, I think he's also probably looking at it like it could have been way worse, depending on. I mean, he ends up in a great spot with the Buffalo Bills, but to send out the statement that he did and to end it with the, as always, it's F the ... was a hell of a way to sign off and pretty much guarantee, not that he wouldn't have been already, but you know, he has cemented himself as part of Bears history here without a doubt. Like, he's going to be a player that Bears fans remember every single, like a lot of the same ways that we still talk about 2018. I mean, 2025 is going to be discussed in that same light for a long, long time. And when that comes up, DJ Moore and his big catches and certainly the walk-off against the Packers will be remembered forever.
It should be remembered with extreme appreciation, love, in a sense. You know what I thought of is, like, I was waiting for the reactions from all of his teammates. Caleb Williams liked it almost immediately. Colson Love and Cole Kmet, Kevin Byard, who is also a free agent. We should probably talk about him before we get out of here too. They all had messages on there. Caleb Williams on Instagram, did you notice this? Like, he shared that, like, his touchdowns to DJ Moore against the Packers and other catches. He also shared a picture of DJ Moore that I'd never seen before, where he's out for the coin toss, I think, against the Packers, and he's just staring down whoever the Packers player was. So I know Carm brought this up, but I do think there was a deep connection had formed between DJ Moore and Caleb Williams in their 2 seasons together.
Yeah, and I also, I don't want to dismiss, like, what that meant to the rivalry. And I think as long as Ben Johnson's the head coach, that's not going to go away. But among all the players, DJ leaned into it quite a bit. And I'm sure losing
cheese grater.
That's what I mean.
Home thing in the locker room celebration.
So, like, if I were to create a list of things that the Bears were losing here with DJ Moore, because I think mostly when it comes to the offense, production, the contract, the return you got, like almost all of those things, it makes sense to make this move. So you 100% do it. I'm not trying to cast any doubt over that. But that's not to say you didn't lose a good player here. And you didn't lose some nostalgia, some leadership, some the toughness that he brought to playing through the injuries. And but of all those things kind of snuck in there, I feel like what he meant to not only egging on that rivalry, leading by Ben Johnson's example when it came to the Bears Packers last year, but leaning into it even more with the cheese grater. And, oh, by the way, getting the winning touchdowns twice, including the walk-off in overtime, the actual production to say that you did it. That's not nothing. That matters. The Bears are going to miss that a little bit when the Bears and Packers line up next season.
And that is something that has to be replaced. From the tenacity to the willingness to engage in the back and forth. Let's not forget the cheap shot he took against the Packers. The Packers knew how valuable DJ Moore was to Ben Johnson's offense. He's a good player who delivered unbelievably great moments for the Chicago Bears, particularly in their most heated rivalry. That can't be forgotten. It should always be appreciated. It is tough to see him move on, but I think the Bears did right by him by sending him to a Buffalo Bills team that's going to play in a new stadium and has Super Bowl aspirations.
All right, last thing. We are recording this little mini pod on Friday. On Monday at 11 a.m. Central Time, Kevin Byard's free to talk to teams. Well, his agent at least is, negotiate with teams. Are you surprised that we're this close to the negotiating period starting Monday and he has not already re-signed with the Bears?
I'm actually not. I'm not, because I'm pretty sure his side of things has a good feel for the market, or what it should be, from the NFL scouting combine. I wonder if Cam Curl's contract now plays into things. 3 years, $36 million. That's $12 million per. I don't think Kevin Byard is going to get that. I think you and I have discussed something along the 8 to 10 range, which I think works for Kevin Byard at this point in his career. But at the same time, now is like the negotiation window for for Kevin Byard. Like, I wanted to include Cam Curl's deal because, well, now there's some movement in the safety market. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens today, Sunday. If it does reach Monday negotiation window, then I think I'd be concerned if I'm the Bears about retaining him.
Maybe even by the time you're listening to this, that is done. But it'll certainly
usually that's how it happens.
Yeah, usually that's how it happens. Although they were nice enough to deliver the DJ Moore trade while we were still alive. All right. Well, we are headed into the weekend, and things will be fluid.
Linderbaum. No, you ready? Ready to pronounce that? Linderbaum.
Linderbaum. Well, at least we know with Linderbaum that can't happen until Monday.
Correct.
Maybe 11:01 Monday morning. That'd be great. But hopefully this takes you into the weekend on a good note. And there certainly it was a busy week for the Bears, as we knew it would be. What we did not know was that Drew Dalman would retire. That was certainly an unexpected wrinkle. But Tremaine Edmunds getting released and DJ Moore getting traded were certainly things we've talked about for a while. And that has paved the way for the Bears to spend some money because they now have a lot more room than they did. They still have a lot of needs, and all three of those guys that they just lost, those are needs they now have to fill. They have to replace those guys, and they were all good players. So there's a lot to look forward to next week. As always, we will have you covered. It'll all start on Monday live at 11 a.m. on CHGO. CHGO Bears will be live for probably 2 or 3 hours at that point. We'll go as long as we need to. I'm sure Johns will drop in. As I don't know if you're going to be, actually, I don't know if you're going to be in studio or not.
I think I'll be in studio.
Yeah, and you'll be dropping in either on the whole time or as needed as moves get made, because you're going to have to write at the same time. So good luck with that, buddy.
Sit in. Oh, we'll be there.
We'll have you covered, and of course, we'll be back as needed here. We'll certainly we'll be live on Tuesday with a full episode on Hoge Jahns, and if we need to record something earlier, we definitely will. Make sure you're subscribed to both channels, Hoge Jahns, CHGO. Hit the like button on the way out. And if you're listening to the pod, we greatly, greatly appreciate you. Rate and review the pod on the way out. Give it 5 stars. Greatly helps grow and spread the show. We will talk to you